Boom, 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 boom. Hey there, social media family. Also, persons know that I have to turn around so that the back side of my own personal computer will be facing me, saying how presently that is some subject given moment in time. It is rather defective, as you all know, as I had explained to the person time and time again, as till I were to be able to put it in one of these here electronic shops so that the technician could look over it, to find out what's exactly going on with my own electronic device of this nature. Otherwise, you cannot possibly see me although you hear me. Whereas my money is kind of funny, So therefore, just bear with me. I will give you whatever social media content as best I can, for what it's worth. Anyway, how are you all doing? Can you see me? Okay. Make sure I position some such so that, unlike the last time when I was broadcasting, it's like somebody had chopped my head off in a French guillotine to see, everything practically, not possibly below the neck level, but below the neck level and above the waist level. You couldn't see my face. Okay. Sorry about that. And as the last time I was broadcasting from the premises property to the public facility of a bookstore. So how are you all doing? Hopefully everybody's feeling at least okay, if not better yet to be said, feeling all right, if not best of all to be said. Feeling blessed and stress, or blessed and stress, blessed and be stressed. You and yours, family, friends, hopefully me and mine, likewise as well, all the same. Please do excuse part of the beginning, or whatever I said here. Practically and possibly put you in the English language, American dialect, all of these grammatical usages, volume functions, or practically and possibly, let's give something like that, umpteen consecutive time. Whereas I never had claimed to have become a English major, neither nor an English professor. So I apologize for that. So I said, I'm sorry. And then, whatever disruptions or interruptions to this present social media broadcast and video that you can hear in the background. Likewise, say, I have little or any control for that. As a matter of fact, I don't have any control over whatever other sounds you may hear, none whatsoever. Because this is a public setting for address location, as it was atmosphere, property, real estate, being of a public branch library. As a matter of fact, this one is the headquarters public branch library, which has authority over all the other public library branches throughout the city of metropolitan Chicago, USA. So, overall, we just have to disregard or ignore any interruption, just as long as the persons can hear me and among themselves, among social media family, subscribers of and visitors to Cat in my own YouTube social media. So, an advancement of interest without further ado, as I was saying, yes. As I think of it with that, my mind's intention to try backtrack to the video perfect thing, if I was going to continue for when done my personal basketball for the finish up as a Friday on the Saints. Yes. So far, my personal concern, I I guess I feel okay. Well, hopefully much better than what I had felt like last. I think I had informed you persons how at one time or another from another black male. So when they say I'm a mixed breed, although I don't really consider myself as being black or white, I just consider myself as being an American citizen. And first and foremost, believing in God as a Christian, aka like a Testament. But anyway, like the back, if I could finish up, form a line of thought, in the saints of the West, this other black male, same sex, there's another one. Whereas one in particular had got to speaking matter, speaking the devil. He had got to coffin at a table I was sitting at with him for given at his location, being one of these free eating spots as an AK soup kitchen, being one of those that moonlights as a food pantry compared to other ones that don't. Because I know about, the majority of most of some of such my own that is not all in the area of most. When I say most, I don't mean, 'cause I know so very few, you know, free eating spots, soup kitchens, but for the ones I do know about, whereas most of the few that I know about, they feed during the daylight hours compared to, the other, did I say most? Yeah, yeah. So I'm butchering, I am butchering the English language American dialect. Like, most of the, no, I say that correctly first time. Most of the few soup kitchens and food pantries I do know about, they feed during the daylight hours compared to how, you know, the few among the few I know that feed as in service poor and needy and the homeless feed at night, you know. So I was at this one soup kitchen, Moonlight at the food pantry, been at one of the free eating spots that I know about that serves the poor and needy, homeless during the daylight hours. And I see at this one table with this one black male, he was coughing, he was coughing up a storm. It kind of got to me, only to find out that here it is another black male at some church I had attended in the past most recently, some such time frame period. I sat down with him and we were talking, discussing matters, and his breath was foul and funky. He was supposed to be a deacon. I'm like, what in the damn? Excuse my language, for my friend. I was like, what? I was like, what in the damn hell? His breath was stinking like booty funk, you know. I'm like, I'm wondering if he had been, sucking on a woman's ass, woman's ass cheeks, if not licking a woman's booty hole out or something, sticking his tongue in her butthole. Now behind, that's just how much his breath was stink like pee pee. Unless he's another lifestyle preference, being an alternative nature, what I mean, to and really no, ridiculous and blasphemous disrespect is meant to be directed at any members to the LGBT community. I had mentioned that last. And no, I'm not a card carrying member to the Westboro Baptist Church. It is bogus, blasphemous, religious, email www.guysfags. I mean, far as concerned, the God of my own understanding, he himself does, or don't, in other words, hate the homos, or the queers, or any, members of that particular community of an alternative nature. Just hates their poor lifestyle preference. I say from a Christian perspective, no ridiculously, homophobic disrespect is meant toward any members, of the LGBT community of that particular one with different alternative lifestyle preferences. regardless of how, or although at one time or another I was contemplating possibly becoming a member of, not to the LGBT community, but to that very same Westboro Baptist Church. And I am still contemplating doing so. I mean, there are some things that I agree with that they be saying in their different YouTube, social media content videos. There are other things I don't totally agree with. As a matter of fact, there are other things that I really have a great disapproval of. But then, don't get me wrong, I haven't yet joined that particular church. Speaking of churches, whereas I didn't go today to any church. I just didn't go up to it for some reason. Like I said, with what I had become subjected to experiencing with the two black males, and whereas I'm wondering what's going on. Hopefully none of my present neighbors from down here, are characters, or worse is one yet, or worse or one of the worstest Cynthia neighbors. Hopefully none of them has made like home invader, or intruder and could have trespassed my primitive properties. And, worse than just go to my own personal effects, belongings, or possessions, but could have possibly messed with me personally. Hopefully not. See how much time I have. We have different patients in the part of the facility. Also, I have broadcasted for at least 1/3 of social media content. 1/3 of that time frame period. As you all know, I would usually broadcast for something like at least on average half an hour. That's 30 minutes. And we have about half an hour before this library facility as well as any other one, public library, throughout the city, close shop. As we close and lock their doors and have to escort different patrons out of here. Anyway, though, and moving right along, get back to some subject. So, other than that, I guess I feel pretty much so okay behind those two different separate incidences or experiences. Don't feel kind of like up under the weather, you know. I may have to do some more home remedies as well as acquire that being a more over-the-counter drugs and prescription medicines. Like, yeah, regardless, because you only live one life in this world. That's for believers and unbelievers alike. So if somebody or something affects your general physical health, if you have like the slightest clue that something may be wrong with you, you need to check it out. Like ASAP as soon as possible. Because it could be something much more severe or serious, you know. Whereas I would hate to be a person who would have the symptom that is like, say, for example, associated with representing, big C. As you all know, the big C is cancer, and that's one of the most devastating physical diseases to be possibly considered, once you were to become subjected to experiencing any physical health symptoms of the issue as that being. Yes. Other than that, I feel pretty much so okay, I guess. Hmm. I'm looking at something in this paper. Some of you all, I would think, if not all of your persons, are familiar with it. It is called by its name titled The Reader. It's been around since the 70s. I was looking at something for a section that could relate to yes, to what I was saying so far as trying to make sure you are feeling at your best. I don't know if this article is making so much mention. I don't know. I could read some of it off. I guess it's making reference to compost. That helps to battle what you call the food shortages around the world. Let me read off. See this here. I did. Yes, I take it. I get to read to find out exactly. We found out some others. It says from the finest kitchen scraps in the city, Wilson Barrier summons the best worm food. Flour powers pasta chef recipes nearly every bit of food waste his kitchen produces and compost it into plant magic. Maybe it's talking about growing flowers much rather instead. I would hate to misinform somebody and not that I would be spreading, misinformation or fake news. It says here William Burroughs come pioneer with oxtail had an impeccable pedigree. The bell-shaped pasta was kneaded with filtered water and imported Italian semolina flour. The braising and shredded beef was harvested from cows who lived out their lives on burned and rotating down state pasture. The green garlic was grown at Middle Fork Farm, a regenerative farm near Bloomington, and the parsley came from Charles Timber Edge Farm near Pontiac. The chef finished the dish with a hit of orange zest and a squeeze of lime from fruit grown on an organic ranch in California's San Gabriel Valley. This is from the Reader magazine, a Reader paper dated for this most recent month, July 13th, 2023. And what is today's date? It's July 16th, 3 days later. This was produced 3 days earlier. Let's see what it says here. Continue. Butler finished prepping this pasta last spring. The excess vegetable scraps from bits of dough that never escaped his extruder during an ever-growing collection in the freezer. Flour powered his Ukrainian village pasta. Once a week, Bob throws an icy lump of this organic slurry into his stand mixer and beats into a pulp. The freeze-thaw process breaks down the plant matter cell walls, which gives it a particularly attractive quality. It's kind of slimy, he says. That's what the worms really seem to like. The red wigglers and Indian blues that live in Barry's apartment bathroom got a taste of the oxtails too. He incinerated them into a biochar, which doesn't do much for the worms themselves, but contributes necessary carbon to the matrix. Well, for more than a year, flour power has produced almost no food waste. It all gets tossed into two large Amazon courier totes. Barry stored just to right of his toilet. To this, he adds pulverized eggshells, weathered and shredded untreated cardboard boxes, and paper flour sacks left to soak in the rain in the alley behind the restaurant. Hopefully, nobody's eating this. If he's making food out of it, I hear that certain demographic area, those of the ethnic minorities, the Asian persuasion, have managed to scientifically produce, waste products, you know, garbage or trash into food item products, sustainable, nourishing food, or so it has been claimed. Anyway, it goes on as follows. Let's see how much time we have left. About half an hour. To this he adds pulverized eggshells, weathered and shredded, untreated cardboard boxes, and paper flour sacks left to soak in the rain in the alley behind the restaurant. Occasionally he adds amendments from his neighbor's dumpsters. Coffee ground from standing passengers and spent brewers rain from forbidden root. That stuff sets the bins on fire, he said. Microbes just love that stuff. The worms, however, don't. So those are added in moderation. Since Brown started this meticulous composting regimen, he figured his worms have excreted some 175 pounds of castings. Black gold he gives away to friends, medical marijuana users, feed it to their cannabis plants and a few vegetable gardens. I've always been a bit bothered by how cannabis fertilizer companies make it so expensive to grow, he says. I'm really bothered by how expensive legalization has made cannabis and somehow diminish quality. I guess he's trying to you know, increase the survival rate of our planet Earth, by giving back to it for what has been taken from it. Anyway, it reads on as follows. Let's see. Okay, where was that? I've always been a bit bothered by how cannabis fertilizer companies make it so expensive to grow, he says. I'm really bothered by how expensive legalization has made cannabis and somehow diminished quality. Bio grows its own as well at a friend's place. These castings are what's keeping my friends indoor gardens growing. The plants I have there are out of control. Before he made his bones in Chicago, cooking at Elizabeth Longman, Eagle, and Schwan. Bob grew up in Seattle where his parents composted for their own garden, but he didn't pick it up when he first started growing weed with friends. We were giving the plants an amended miracle growth mix. It would work out after a while, but you would start to see deficiencies. After several generations, the plants they cloned from the mother plants would lose their vigor and health, and they'll have to start all over again with first cut from a new plant. Bar opened Flower Power in the summer of 2020, but the restaurant closed the following year for a mid-pandemic break and reset. He used his time off to go fishing and teach himself to grow cannabis again, and he developed a preoccupation with healthy living soil. He saw parallels between his old unhealthy plants and the diseases and general weakening that afflict humans as they age. If you're clean, you can get a lot more runs, he says. I started thinking how the same mechanisms that happen in the plant are the same mechanisms that happen in people. I started going down these rabbit holes on plant nutrition and how it affects human nutrition. His compost operation began casually. He had some spare soil laying around in a 20-quart Rubbermaid van, to which he added some commercial burner compost seeded with earthworms and other organisms that break down organic matter into castings that can contribute nutrients for plants. Occasionally, he tossed in leftover worms after fishing or dead cannabis leaves, and then his own kitchen scraps. Soon he graduated to another bin, then four, and then the Amazon totes that found abandoned in an alley. They just left him there for me, he says. When the restaurant reopened in March 2022, he went into high gear experimenting with amendments like spent mushroom blocks from four-star mushrooms, rotting forest leaves threaded with Barngale mycelium or horse manure from Janie's Mill, the purveyors who supply the organic stone ground flour he usually uses. The only time he ever smelled bad was when something went sideways, like when he added too much spent brewer's grain, whose decomposition produces so much heat it can kill the worms. That smells like low tide, he says. When things are burned wet, it smells neutral. It was about this time that he read a pivotal book that validated everything he'd been thinking about plant nutrition and its connection to human and environmental health. What Your Food Ate, How to Heal Our Land and Reclaim Our Health by David R. Montgomery and Annie Bickle. I'm sure Greta Thunberg would like this book, as well as this article, this latest or most recent edition of the Reader magazine or paper. Well, it reads on as follows. Anna Bickle is an argument for regenerative farming that makes the case that humans are suffering from an epidemic of nutrient malnutrition brought on by the overtillage and the overuse of commercial fertilizers and pesticides that are endemic to conventional farming practices. While, like any self-respecting chef, adheres to most simplest but most important principle of cooking. Start with the best ingredients. What he's come to believe is that it starts with good soil. Plants and animals that live on it taste superior to conventionally produced food because they're healthy and eating them makes people healthy. Oh, did I tell you all how most recently I went back to the partial vegetarian diet myself? I say partial vegetarian diet. That's where you eat something of protein, but not exactly to be considered as protein of a much more familiar story type, so far as, chicken and beef. But then I could never really mess with the pork. Well, I ate pork before, but I since cut out all pork from my diet. Me consuming something such of any form, fashion, kind of sort of type. Anyway, the partial vegetarian diet that I make a reference to is regarding whereas when it comes to protein and the same line of thought to meat, similar or whatever I really just think about eating fish. Then there's beans. Beans are not exactly to be considered as meat, but it's protein in some form or fashion. Believe it or not, I had went something like a year without eating the heavy meats other than fish. Yes, well, on occasion, I know some will say, well, that's rather hypothetical. I think being because if for emergency reasons or purposes, I would eat some other kind of meat to get some or such into my system if I can't get that or vice versa to continue the partial vegetarian diet of only eating fish when it comes to meats. Uh, more recognized, not artificial meat. Beans is not artificial meat, you know what I mean? So far, proteins. So technically, it may seem like I had relapsed, but not really. So I wasn't taking in, on a regular basis, large consumptions of meat products, of chicken and beef, definitely not pork, not any pork. I wasn't consuming meat. So I relapsed, and then I got back on the bandwagon of my partial vegetarian diet and that same thought. And whereas that was for somewhere around about Independence Day, if not actually, it could have possibly been on Independence Day, on the 4th of July. And here it is now, it's July. I've been going at it around about the 4th with the same partial vegetarian diet that I had mentioned earlier, or do a reference or something. I'll be getting back to the reading here. Where was I at? Fire, like any self-respecting chef, adheres to the simple but most important principle of cook. Let me check how much time we have. Well, we have about half an hour, give or take. Start with the best ingredients. When what he comes to believe is that it starts with good soil. Plants and animals that live on it taste superior to conventionally produced food because they're healthier. Eating them makes people healthier. He religiously buys from farms that practice organic, sustainable, or regenerative practices. Religiously buys from farms that. Anyway, speaking on that one word religiously, I had informed your persons how I did not go to church today, any church, regardless of whether or not I have finally found a church home. I just didn't feel up to it. I was feeling kind of up on the weather, still am, but I hope I feel much better than I felt last. And we're getting back to reading. But that's expensive, and it's counterintuitive that any of it go to waste. If a clump of soil makes its way into the kitchen or the end of the vegetable, he brushes it into a scrap bin. That stuff is beyond the bin, he said. At the peak of his compost operation, one of his cooks told him, "You like buying the best stuff just so that you can feed it to your compost." Fire jokes, it's like, dude, if I am paying $2 a pound extra for that food produce, yes, save that for his bathroom bins are rarely empty. He's purposely adding to the compost, moving around, turning it into distribute material uniformly, aerate it, and release some of the heat it produces. When a quadrant is ready, he scoops it into a bus tub fitted with a screen and sifts the warm poop from all the undigested cardboard and leaves it alone. The end product is a rich black granular material that's odorless and light enough to shower through your fingers. The brow looks you up. It's ready to feed your weed, tomatoes, and flower bed. The goal and the purpose behind this is about sequestering carbon, he said. It's keeping carbon in the system where it's used over and over again until it's in our bodies. It makes us what we are instead of getting trapped in the garbage bags and landfills and in the atmosphere. Also, it is like trying to save the planet. That is a case of what he's doing. Whether that carbon comes from a kale stem or a carrot or a cannabis plant, is staying in the dirt is becoming something enjoyable. I guess I sound like a pot smoking hippie, but it's true. So we need to do more of this. We humans, what he's doing, he's saving the planet Earth. See, sorry about at some given time much earlier where they have sound and seem like promoting or spreading misinformation until I read the article. It has nothing to do with how he's like, you know, producing that rather correction. It has little to do with how he's producing food item products, you know, to nourish our own species or any other species. It has more to do with well, no, I am no, I don't mean to sound the same like I'm purposely maybe contradicting myself, but it's more like he's trying to save the planet, you know, in a sense. He's more trying to save the planet. So it is more like he's telling you how to regenerate the soil to produce that food item products, not only for our species, but for the rest of the species of creatures being of the animal kingdom. You know, that's important than just, make landfills out of whatever refuse, products, because that would not be going in that same line of thought to save the planet. It would be going contrary to it. It would be like, contributing to destroying our own planet as we have it. You know. And you are, just as you are what you eat, you are what you think, And I'm not trying to get back to the original topic of discussion. I'm not trying to drink anybody's Jonestown Kool-Aid mixed punch. I said I miss church service today of any church that I could have attended. I just didn't feel up to it. I get sick and tired of the religious hype. It just sounds like so much run the mill, you know, dime a dozen off the semi line of stupidity and sickness of the different updated versions of the Jonestown Kool-Aid mixed punch. I'm not trying to drink any of any religious denominations, be it Protestant, Catholic, supposed so-called Jehovah's Witnesses, supposed so-called Latter-day Saints, whatever. I mean, it's starting to get into my crawl, religious broadcast, especially when the likes religionists try to, mix it together. They're preaching and teaching with music. I hate it when they put music to it. Like, I can get fed up with enough without the music than for them to try to put music with it. It reminds me of what this one Catholic white guy was saying. He says some of the least music that he listens to is religious music. So I was like, I heard that, I got a lot out of that. There's just so few religious songs, be it of the traditional hymnals or of contemporary gospel music that I would really care for. Most of that religious music, I mean, I'm just not with it. I like more secular music than that, which is supposed to be religious or spiritual, just as long as it don't conflict with my own religious and spiritual beliefs. I mean, I can listen to music. I don't necessarily care for the lyrics to start to go, all out there into another orbit, if they start to glamorize that a drug use was uncovered, or if it gets to disrespecting woman, you know, although you know, I'm trying not to watch so much porn like I used to in the past. It's been trying to get right with God, being which I am as a believer, you know. And so it's not so much of a problem as it was before. I wouldn't say I was about to become panty snatchers, world seeing full moon at night, contemplating not only trying to vamp upon, the grandma, but Little Red Riding Hood herself, if you know what I mean. Little food between last year and next. And then I have an issue with gambling, you know. I hate it when I relapse. As a matter of fact, I relapsed so far gambling today. You know, something told me, someone, it had to be God. Keep the money in your pocket before you lose it all. Let's keep the rest of it because like, the other day it was seemed like I was on some kind of it's called win streak just yesterday. Whereas I won all my money back, but when I played today, I had lost from half to most of it. What few dollars I had left, a few dollars, literally a couple few dollars left. Some were saying, put that money back in your pocket. And then I had found that. That's right. I found something else. I had little money else. I didn't know I had it. You know? So I known that to my brother, my only living flesh and blood brother, my immediate personal family household. But sometimes I put some other money in my jacket pocket rather than my wallet. So I loaned him that. I would have gambled that as well. I literally had only for the other money. I didn't know I had that money I loaned him. So far, the other money, it don't matter how much I have. Just trust me when I say it. It's a pretty sizable amount. I'm just not into spending rent money. God forbid. Then I'd be quite a bit of a limit, you know. Like the homeless white boy I was telling you all about last. I know you don't want to hear that sad sack story once again. How he played, he took me out to the cleaners, you know, took me out to the grind. Sniper about to close. Oh, I didn't broadcast for a whole half an hour now. Yeah, remember? I'm giving you all the Cliff Notes version. Speed dial it right quick, and then I'm gonna close out this particular present social media broadcast. So I met him on his floor, fifth floor. He come in here, he ran alongside the left me, ran through the book house, and then come out on the right side of me. Sat at the table right there, you know. And I noticed he had a working cell phone. He had sat at the table across from where I'm sitting. He had a working cell phone. No, that's not. He had a working cell phone, working laptop, computer, and I found out that he had a limit of a broken down car. You know, and I was listening to him discuss money matters with whoever it was, the second party on my particular line. I announced in the library. And so I myself personally, I just felt sorry for him. I walked over to his table, put quite a few dollars down on the table for him. Not literally a couple people, more than a couple people. Sizable amount. I don't want to go into how much it was, but let's just say it broke the bank. I could use it for myself. And then last but not least, against my better judgment, you know, I should have went through my gut feeling. I extended an invitation to him as an offer for he himself had opportunity, chances to say to spend the night with me in my own place of residence. So I live in one of the worst neighborhoods now, and with some such I just worst neighborhood than hell. Then, and to make a long story short, wrap this up. You know, I had to close out these libraries. Like any other library branches that's open, they have to close, score these papers out before you. So I did all this good stuff for them. You know, before I left in the night, I give them money. I bought them 2 meals in one of the better neighborhoods for a restaurant and a fast food place. And then I paid for gas for his broken down limit of a car. Then I had to spend the night. So like 5 o'clock in the morning, whereas I gave him the little actual back bedroom, you know, to sleep in, whereas I used to sleep in the living room area to use as makeshift bedroom for reasonable purpose being there because, you know, with the worse neighborhood that I'm living in and the living room area being closer to my apartment door, so I can make sure nobody's trying to come in on me or be more prepared, you know. And here it is at 5 o'clock in the morning. He's standing in the entranceway doorway of the living room area of my makeshift bedroom. At 5 o'clock in the morning, spook damn hell out of me as a leaving guys. How much more He was spooked me about it still. Like, unbelievable, unbelievable. Then I shrugged it off. And like sometime later, I offered him the chance to attend, a self-help recovery program meeting with me hours later, being which he had done or did, only find out that, well, as he claimed otherwise, that he not any longer has $900 in the GoFundMe account. And I myself, well, self-help recovery buddies were wondering, well, why didn't he get a hotel or motel room with that money? Use some of that money to do just that. You know. And he said he was playing you. So after the meeting, he's asked me, when are we gonna go back to your place of residence? And I said, it's not a matter of we, it's just me. You can go wherever the damn hell you want, as they say. They gotta go home, but you got to go from here. I mean, imagine that. He played me, but then Karma's a monster. When I found that find out as I did, I had found, you know, I find out that as he had attended this one, soup kitchen being one of the frequent humps of his where I usually go myself. His car had gotten impounded. Yeah, Carmen's a monster. His car got impounded, you know, and he wasn't going to look out for me in any kind of way to reimburse me, compensate me for playing the part of a good Samaritan. When I should just gave him a couple few dollars and sent him on his way. know. I mean, no working stiff holding down a 9 to 5 job or a college or university student is going to permit a complete stranger to stay in one's place of residence overnight, let alone a homeless drifter of a bum, wino, a drunk or a hype. Yeah. So I kind of slept that one. I was partly responsible for me being played. Okay. And it's a wrap. So that is concerned. Just typing up. Yes, on this last note, anniversary. I hope that any of you all, whatever race and whatever walks of life, old and young, like both two sexual genders, the males and females, that is not only the human species, the global community, but this post 911 era of our new millennium apocalyptic day and age, and where it's doomsday clock is now at a couple few minutes to midnight, compared on California period prior to then, it was at a quarter midnight for these rather biblically prophetic times, or to have thought, to profess faith in our Lord and Savior Christ, for I will hope that more than cry pure you will think to do. Although broad is the way that leads to destruction, narrow is the way that leads to life, and leads to life, through that be that find it. I will hope that more than cry pure you will think to accept Christ as your own personal Lord and Savior. Like I said before, and stay corrected. So I say and stay corrected. And tomorrow's not promised to anybody. If you should leave this world without getting that in the only fire insurance needs to be fire damn well. The final destination would be just that, to burn forever. With the rest of the unsaved, lost down human souls, the unbelievers, and non-believers, compared to how we as believers in God, as Christians, actually Protestants, would have that fire insurance against that lake of fire, for that a summer such as to others. For God is not to be mocked, but you sour is what you sow. When I think about accepting Christ as a person, will say, if you haven't done so, he said already, and doing so now, while the blood is still running on your veins. Because you never know how soon your number could be called. You be walking down the street as a pedestrian, and decide to cross the street from a city or suburban sidewalk, or you be on a country road, and then you could be hit by a 2-ton automobile, more vehicle. Then from there, just where you would be if you had not seriously thought to accept Christ as that being your own personal Lord and Savior. While you still have time, like I said before, so I say again, as tomorrow is not promised to anybody. And on that last note of interest, it's a wrap, as they say, Yes. They closed all the computer area pages to use the free Wi-Fi from the library's computers compared to how I use that being on my own personal computer, where so I could be on here as long as I want. As anybody would want their own personal computer compared to if you're on the library's computer, you want to have 60 minutes for 2 sessions during the day. That's not interesting. That's right.